So that's where we are in Standard. Cody Murray, 3 players playing Golgari midrange here in day 2. Our other matchups, and actually, is that a... Oh, this is an Eldrazi post deck on Jason's side. So this is like his dream matchup against Victor Logan.
Oh yeah, you can beat up some Grixis control decks with these colorless Eldrazi's pretty easily.
Yeah, there are 2, both Jason Rice and then, as we know, Jody Keith playing Eldrazi post.
Yep, different builds, but still casting large colorless creatures.
And it's a real testament that both those teams are sitting at 10-2 right now. That metagame call of playing Post and Legacies feels like it's paying off.
We sure see a lot of Grixis control at the top of the screen.
Yeah. But to the game at hand, we start off with Legion's Landing from Shoopman. He'll use Flower to go ahead and continue to fix his mana. Remember, this one's a bit different than the Zansea deck in that you're not going to see those early Snub Horns, those early Hunted Witness. This deck is slower to get going and bigger once it starts.
Yeah, more token heavy, the sapling migration version of the deck. That's the ideal 2-drop after you cast Legion's Landing.
Shootman's just going to fill his hand up with lands and casts another Flower. So looking at Cody Murray's deck, we're not milling. Talk me a bit through what we're going to expect out of this mid-range deck.
Yeah, this deck is trying to land a couple 2-for-1s. We have Ravenous Chupacabra, fully 4 of those, 3 District Guides, 2 Golgari Fine Broker, just really good value kind of cards. Vraska Relic Seeker at the top of the curve, just a really powerful Planeswalker that hasn't seen maybe as much play as it has deserved to in Standard, making a little bit of a resurgence this weekend. Number of 1-for-1 removal spells, and then Find Finality, which is either just a pretty clean 2-for-1 and a double Raise Dead, or Finality, which has been a pretty effective Plague Wind we've seen in matchups like this.
So Dryad Green Seeker is the turn 2 play from Cody Murray. Find the attrition of Sinbad, Fadia Seer. But it's a 1-3, and that's going to matter a lot here against 1-1 lifelinks. It can draw a card as long as it draws lands.
Yeah, that 1-3 comes up against the red deck, actually.
Yeah.
Number of 1 toughness creatures in that deck.
History of Benalia from Shoopman. That was his turn 3 play. Now we go to turn 4. It's going to make a second night. The 1-3 still holding everything off. Shoopman would love to find a pump. He has a Conclave Tribunal. Now, I don't know that he wants to Tribunal this Green Seeker. In a mid-range matchup, that feels not great.
Yeah, maybe on the turn where the History of Benalia goes off. You don't really shove that much damage here. I think if you have really any other play to make, you'd make that instead.
If you have no other play, do you just pass here?
I don't know.
Sapling Migration, though. You don't have to figure that out. He's got to play.
Yeah, it depends what your future turns look like. You can Migration into Tribunal. It's 0 mana on that front. You get 2 tokens. You get to convoke 2.
Yeah, so he doesn't have to. He can still decide whether or not he's making that play. Find Finality is a main deck sweeper that Cody Murray plays. That's his 2 copies, and it's his only main deck sweeper.
Yep.
Cast Down from Cody on a Night token. He's showing a bit of respect here for that token. Green Seeker tries to draw a card, but the top card is not a land. It's Thrashing Brontodon. Ravenous Chupacabra from Cody shoots down the other Night. On single green, so Brontodon not even an option if he were to want it.
Yeah, and Chupacabra not the highest impact card against the tokens deck, but he's really blunted the assault a lot. Shoopman's going to have that history go off and get no additional damage through. Just a bunch of 1-1s against a 1-3 and a 2-2 right now.
5th land here from Shoopman. That history going off, but not really doing much. And we see Trostani Discordant, one of the 2 copies from Shoopman.
That's a big draw.
Yeah, the guild leader here from Selesnya Tokens brings 2 tokens along with it, and Anthem's the team.
And the Anthem is relevant because Shoopman led on Legion's Landing, and now he has access to 3 2-2s that can attack, transform the landing, and the worst thing that happens is one of the tokens trades with Ravenous Chupacabra.
Yeah. In a lot of ways, it feels to me like he's going to be able to overpower this Golgari deck unless Finality shows up. These Anthems are pretty strong.
Yeah, Murray's leaning pretty heavy on that sweeper effect.
So, Trostani pumps those 3 tokens, as you mentioned, do attack. We transform the Legion's Landing into a Danto. And yeah, Chupacabra will trade with the lifelink token. Green Seeker will block another, and he'll take 2. Cody will drop to 17. Now, starting his next turn, we might get a Doom Whisperer. And actually, looking in his hand, Ryan, I believe we have Find Finality.
Yes, I have spotted that one. He'll need to start producing more lands, but 2 more lands, and he can make that one go off. Let's see if we have an end-step activation of the Green Seeker. He missed on a land the previous time. I don't know if he has more land drops available. Looks like a bunch of spells from here. And a bunch of basic swamps, only 1 green mana, so not able to cast all of his spells. Yeah, activated Green Seeker, nothing came up, and I'm going to activate main phase. That confirms that there was no additional land drop, but he does find a swamp. That matters a lot.
It is a swamp, and we see that second Ravenous Chupacabra, which is a bingo square. Going to take care of Tristani Discordant.
And now Shoopman's back to not having great attacks. He does have the Adonto to the first fort, make some more tokens, but Murray's bought a good amount of time here. Murray has quite a few double green spells in hand. Thrashing Brontodon, Golgari Findbroker. He'll need to find a second forest at some point. He has established a battlefield where if he can draw and cast a Doom Whisperer, that'll actually put a lot of pressure on Shoopman.
Yeah, as it is right now, because he was able to take care of the Chupacabra, or take care of Tristani with the Chupacabra, he doesn't need that yet. I mean, now we see a Venerated Luxodon antheming the team. You know, he has the board kind of managed.
Yeah, I mean, now he's looking back like he really wants to cast that Finality.
Right, and any land will do that. It's at 6 mana. And another great game-ending 6 mana play was drawn as Vraska Relic Seeker. He's going to go for that land, and there it is, and it's a forest.
Timely.
And he'll just go straight for Find Finality. Chupacabra. Now he's going to pump Green Seeker.
Well, the Chupacabra would just die. You put 2 counters on it to give me -4/-4. So I like this target.
Yeah, 2 1/1 counters on it. -4 all the other creatures. So Green Seeker becomes a 3/5, then a 0/1. Everything dies.
Except the mighty 3/5 Green Seeker.
And that card, we've seen it do a number on Celestia already in previous rounds. This round is no exception. Shoopman, though, can start going back to work with Adonto.
Yep, and Adonto is a big deal when your opponent's at a low life total. Murray's not. He has not taken very much damage this game.
Amara from Shoopman. He'll attack him with the Lifelinker.
I am starting to get really cold on this Amara card.
Yeah, I mean, it's as a 2/2, it really hasn't done much in the tournament. I've seen it make a fair amount of 1/1s convoking things, which I've liked, but it really feels like this synergy piece, and it's not big enough to do anything impactful.
Right. I like it when it shows up on turn 2.
And we'll convoke, 2 creatures to cast Conclave Tribunal, which is
not 3.
Not 3. I'm interested that he chose to do it that turn. Shoopman, by casting the Tribunal that turn, it does lose the ability to make an Adonto token.
Right, and also just the Green Seeker is just a 3/5. I mean, it produces extra value, but there's going to be better cards than that.
Like Vraska Relic Seeker?
Yeah, that's one of them. But there's just not a deck that you could build in Magic the Gathering where a 3/5 Dryad Green Seeker is your best card.
Yeah.
Like, that's just not conceivable.
And Vraska going to get some loyalty and make a Pirate.
And this Vraska's a big deal. Murray's really managed the board with that Finality, finds himself in a position where he's facing down a couple small creatures. His Vraska just makes a 2/2 every turn. That's as big as the Amara by itself. Gets to keep churning those out. And then he also drew Doom Whisperer on this turn. He can cast that. He'll be really taking over this game.
Well, right, this is what we'd expect out of Golgari midrange. Some removal spells. We had 2 Chupacabras, a sweeper, and then play some 5 and 6 mana mythics. And if that's your game plan, this is going exactly how Cody drew it up.
Yeah, 5 and 6 mana mythics. Pretty strong cards.
Yeah, you kind of look at black and green. You pick whatever on rate is the best one printed in the format at the time, which he kind of thinks is Vraska and Doom Whisperer. Can't disagree there.
Yeah. Good old-fashioned The Rock deck.
Yeah.
Nothing beats Rock.
I like that. People ask, what are you going to play on your deck? And you say, well, next set they're going to probably print some mythic in these colors, and I'll probably play it.
Well, there's some good 6 mana spells.
I don't know. I'm sure it'll be fine. It'll be a thing, and I'll play it.
I have these cards, which are always 2-for-1s, and this card that's sometimes a 2-for-1.
Swing in here. Shoopman appears hits the Vraska down to 6, and then casts a kicked Saproling Migration for 4 more 1/1s.
Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, he can chain this into how many Tristanis? He has a second Tristani in the deck. That's all the more. But producing more Anthem effects like that would change the texture of the game.
Shoopman's teammate over on the Modern match, Lucas Parson, picks up the win 1-0. He's up on Brian Haidle. Back over to Cody. Makes another Pirate. See if he can add a second Mythic to that board. You mentioned Doom Whisper. Looks like he's got 2 of them. 2 Whispers, a Thrashing Brontodon. We're going to get our first look at Doom Whisperer. Mostly it's just on raid, a huge creature.
Right. It's a 5-mana 6/6 flying trample.
Right.
Now, when I tell you that a black card has these stats, you might think, oh, what do you got to do? Sacrifice a creature, lose half your life every upkeep? No.
Or like lose the ability to win.
Right. Instead, you can just pay 2 life to Surveil 2 whenever you want.
Yeah, for 1 extra mana, your Abyssal Persecutor's downside becomes an upside.
And Murray's hand's kind of awkward. He has multiple double green spells, but it just doesn't matter. His cards are individually a lot more powerful than Shoopman's.
Full swing here from Shoopman. 2 of the creatures will be blocked. Vraska down to 3. And Shoopman's paying a huge tax here to get rid of this Vraska.
Yeah, and if that's the fight we're fighting, it's only going to get worse over time.
Yeah, well, Vraska keeps going up by 2 loyalty and then makes a blocker, so it'll eat through these tokens pretty quickly.
Right, and it's not like Shoopman necessarily has good lines. He can't really pressure Murray's life total because he wasn't able to do enough of that in the early game.
Right, so Chupacabra shoots down a token, Vraska makes a Pirate, and actually Cody Murray feels confident enough that Doom Whisperer will start the attacks. Shoopman down to 21. Cody should close this out over the next couple turns. Big slam dunk draws. Do you think anything like, I guess I'm looking at March of the Multitudes. Is that enough to make this competitive for Shoopman?
March of the Multitudes into Flourish, I think, is about what he's looking at.
All right. If that's what he's looking for, do you almost want him to stop attacking the Vraska? Just stop giving away tokens and say, hey, this 1-2 punch is my only out?
Yeah, I mean, it's a long road to deal with the Vraska. The attacks have not looked great.
All right, well, he did draw Conclave Tribunal. He'll take care of Doom Whisper.
All right, this is another Tribunal that I believe has been misspent. The Vraska is just on the table. -3 is going to deal with that. I suppose you have attacks that pressure the Vraska.
Yeah, because Vraska can deal with the Tribunal, he has to take the Tribunal.
And I think the Vraska just matters a lot more than the Doom Whisperer.
Yeah.
Real quick, bingo square. Doom Whisperer activated. So.
Oh, we did. We paid 2 life.
I responded to this Tribunal. And that's really a sign of how far ahead Murray is in this game. He's willing to play with that life.
It's got cast down in hand. Now, fortunately for Shoopman, another of his teammates has come through in what is a very unexpected result.
Yeah, Grixis Control taking game 1 over Eldrazi Post.
Yeah. At this point, who's the favorite in the matchup? Real question.
Yeah, I don't know. Eldrazi Post...
Like, it's close now, right?
Yeah. When you got to win both sideboard games against a deck like Grixis Control and Legacy, that is rough. Is he going to get Blood Mooned? Do we have that one?
Let's see.
Oh, yeah, he is.
2 Blood Moons? Yeah, Logan could do this. Another Doom Whisperer. Well, no, the same one. The Conclave's. Vraska reversed the Conclave's decision.
As she's wont to do. Thrashing Brontodon also showing up.
Sure.
Yeah, so the Tribunal's just not that good against Murray's deck as well.
Right. We had choices as to how to remove it.
Right.
Shoopman has left all his creatures back. I'm looking at this here, Ryan. If that card's March of the Multitudes in hand. Did we get it right? Yes, that is okay. Nope, plays a land. He may have one more turn at that 1-2 punch. He's got to just draw them both off the top. And out of respect for that, Cody is doing things like cast downing a token each turn, which I do like.
Yeah, it's not like the cast down is going to have a good target. You can't cast down a Tristani, which is about the only creature you want to use spot removal on anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say, what about Shalai? And I was like, wait. Wait, no, not that one either.
Right. Yeah, lifelink token, one of the better targets.
Amara. Okay. This is a terrible card here. Venerated Luxodon. There we go.
Yeah.
District Guide.
Hit your 4/4 with no game text.
Night token. I don't want to play this card in this matchup.
Yeah. Pretty reasonable one to see boarded out, and Murray actually has some pretty good upgrades in the sideboard when we get there.
A swing in here is going to start working on Shoopman's life total. And top card Shoopman, another land. He will pick up the cards. Cody Murray takes game one. Going to have to help. Gets on the scoreboard for his team. And we'll look at some sideboarding options for the players. Shoopman side on Celestia tokens. Maybe a tougher matchup? I don't know. Sweepers are a tough matchup for the deck. That much we can say.
Right.
What do you like out of the sideboard?
Yeah, so the options, 3 Lyra Dawnbringers, 2 Seal Away, 2 Settle the Wreckage, 2 Shieldmare, 2 Vivian Reed, a Cleansing Nova, a Tendershoot Dryad, the Immortal Sun, and a Sorceress Spyglass. So I like some of this go big sort of stuff.
Yeah.
The Vivian Reed against a Doom Whisperer deck, and also we get a deck that's chock full of sweepers and removal just to gas back up with the plus ability. That does seem pretty good in the matchup. It's tough for the Celestia deck to leverage Cleansing Nova, and I don't think that Murray's deck is doing the sort of things where you want to reach for that.
If you Nova, I'm just not sure. So then we both play the cards left in our hand. I don't know that he wins that fight very often.
I also don't think that Settle the Wreckage is very good against the Vraska Relic Seeker deck.
Right.
But the Immortal Sun to draw extra cards, turn off Vraska, that's a pretty potent tool there. And I like the Tendershoot Dryad just being sort of an army in a can.
Yeah, Tendershoot Dryad, a big card. Immortal Sun looks great. How you felt? So Lyra's and Sorceress Spyglass style cards.
Those both seem reasonable to me. The Spyglass to turn off Vraska. There's some other stuff you can turn off in a pinch. I guess you don't probably want to target Thrashing Brontodon because you don't have that many targets for it. But, I don't know. Doom Whisperer is not the worst. Most of you are trying to stick it on Vraska. And the Lyras are just a lot better in your deck because they don't get colded by Find Finality.
Yeah, it gives you some insurance on that for sure. Cody Murray's side. As a Golgari mid-range deck, usually these decks sideboard pretty well. He has 4 Duress, 2 Carnage Tyrant, 2 Golden Demise, 2 Moment of Craven, 2 Vivian Reed, a Argwell's Bloodfast, a Deathgorge Scavenger, and a Ritual of Soot. It's creatures. I'm assuming he's reaching for the removal.
Yeah, 2 Golden Demise and Ritual of Soot. Those are pretty big upgrades. It's just more sweeper is the answer in most of what's happening in Shoopman's deck. On the draw, this matchup probably isn't the Bloodfast matchup, though that card is always something you can bring in over a blank card. We saw a bunch of cast downs in Game 1. Those ones are not particularly good. He also has some Assassin's Trophy, which are medium, though you do want to have some stuff against what Shoopman's bringing in, so you probably want to maintain some of the spot removal. You could go for Duress. We saw a lower to the ground, the mono green aggro deck reach for that, but it's because the games were going shorter if the green deck was going to win. I think because Murray's deck kind of goes over the top of Shoopman's deck as it is, I definitely wouldn't go heavy on Duress, maybe 1 or 2 copies.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a removal spell because there's a lot of non-creature cards in Shoopman's deck, but you really don't want it to miss.
If you're not hitting March of the Multitudes, I don't think you're getting enough for your Duress. And March of the Multitudes is also just an instant, so you only have very specific windows to hit it in a meaningful way.
Well, last week we went live with the Season 1 schedule for next year on the SCG Tour. Find out where all the stops on the tour and whether or not, when we are coming near you, we're going to run through what we have. So we start 2019. We are announcing our Team Modern Open right here in Columbus. That's going to be beginning of January 2019. That is not Unified Modern, so whatever decks you and your 2 friends would like to play, they are welcome here. We go to Worcester the following weekend where we play Individual Modern. Take a break, and then we have our Team Open over west in Indianapolis. Then we have a Team Open near here in Baltimore. Following it up with a Standard Open. We are starting to add those back to the schedule in 2019. After the beginning of the year, we take a bit of a break before we return to Syracuse for our Legacy Open. That's the Season 1 Legacy Open, March 2nd and 3rd. We have our regional championships, and then we have a Modern Open in Philadelphia mid-March. Wrap up the season with a Team Open here in Ohio, Cincinnati. It's March 23rd and 24th. A Modern Open as we stay in Ohio, in Cleveland. Then we have our Team Open in Richmond the following month. A team open up in Syracuse, and a Modern open to end the season in Louisville before our Invitational June 7th and 9th in Roanoke, Virginia. That is still Modern and Standard.
Yeah, a ton of great stops here. Really intrigued by the non-unified Team Modern. And remember, the Players' Championship's coming back, so you'll want to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, so the Players' Championship is coming back. Joe Lissette will get to defend his 2016 crown. After a break of 2 years, we'll be bringing that back. More on that to come and how to qualify. And needless to say, though, get yourself out to the Invitationals. That's going to be a way to get there.
Oh, yeah.
Now, with a new season means a new set of playmats, and for 2019 Season 1, we've commissioned some original arts. We have one by Greg Staples here. Which you can see, you can get each of these arts coming across the screen for Standard, Modern, and Legacy. These will be available at the SCG Tour events. They're exclusive, and if you can't make it to the Open, you can play Classics or Infinite Challenges or the Sealed Spectaculars. Any of them is a way to get these playmats. You can find the schedule if you didn't. Is now posted at starstategames.com/schedule.
Yeah, really cool original art being commissioned for this go-round. Love all these pieces.
All right, we have game number 2. Now, Eric Shoopman is on the play, but he's had to go down to a 5-card hand for this kind of matchup.
And the matchup already looks rough on paper.
I mean, I hate mulliganing against black-green decks. It just plays right into their game plan.
Well, Shoopman's also playing the kind of deck where your cards are only really good in conjunction with other cards. You're trying to curve small token makers into March of the Multitudes, into Flourish. It's not the highest synergy deck, but it is a synergy deck. It's a deck that functions much worse on fewer cards.
District Guide from Eric Shoopman. Well, that's one way to get a card back. So find a basic plains. Did see over on the other side, we have our 1-3 going to try to find some lands.
Dryad Greenseeker.
It's kind of like the Dark Confidant of this deck. I mean, it is. It's just not Dark Confidant.
Yeah, you take damage in the sense that your opponent probably has good attacks into your 1-3.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah, you know, right? It's like they want to play Dark Confidant. You can't because it's like this black-green deck really wants that effect. You can't play it. They go through their spoiler, and it's like, yeah, Dryad Greenseeker is kind of the closest thing. It's like a 2-drop that sometimes gets me an extra card.
I justify it as a removal spell for Get to Lava Runner.
All right.
Viashino Pyromancer.
On Eric Shootman's side, History of Benalia and Legion's Landing. It's going to make some tokens, 3 creatures. And, you know, for a 5-card hand, this is looking to be pretty decent.
It's a solid start. It all loses to Golden Demise.
All right, well, see if he has one.
And Dryad Greenseeker survives Golden Demise, even if you don't have the City's Blessing.
So Cody missed on land Greenseeker end step. He tapped to try to hit land 4 as his hand is entirely 4-drops, and he missed there as well.
Yeah, pretty full of Ravenous Chupacabras over there. That missing on land, that is rough.
You want to talk about ways to win on a mulligan to 5. How fast, then, the question is, can Shoopman clock here?
I mean, he's already attacking for plenty.
Yeah,
5 coming across here, and it's going to transform Legion's Landing. Made another Knight token. Next turn, he'll have 2 pumped Knights.
Yeah. Swing in for 5. Cody's going to take the whole thing. It transforms Adanto.
Now, unless one of the cards Murray was missing on was Golden Demise, I think he's in a lot of trouble, and don't know that I'm seeing that card in hand.
His hand appears to be 3 Chupacabras, Vraska's Contempt. I think there's a Ritual of Soot.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah, Flower's going to be cast by Shoopman. Did he decline to transform that Adanto?
It looks like the Legion's Landing was not transformed.
Yeah. And Cody Murray, there we go. There's the land, and he's got a shock for it. He's got to pay 2.
Yeah. I mean, Celestia Tokens isn't a deck with reach. That's well worth the cost to find the land right now.
And here is Ravenous Chupacabra taking care of a token. Now, some pressure on Cody Murray. Lucas Parson with Humans wins the match over in Modern over Brian Haidle. So Shoopman's teammate takes a match. If Victor Logan can 2-0 with Grixis control, then this doesn't matter for Shoopman.
Yeah.
Not the result I would expect, but it's definitely possible. And now I see Parson joining in on this match. We have Conclave Tribunal exiling away the Chupacabra. That's going to allow attack of 3 creatures, and now Shoopman will transform. So thanks how that plays out. He gets another chance at a Danto.
Yeah, he wasn't using the Legion's Landing, the first 4 last turn anyway, so
right.
Not really a cost. Gets through a bunch of damage here.
Land 5 for Cody Murray. Here's 5 mana, and what do we have? It is Vivian Reed, who is going to destroy the Conclave Tribunal. The Chupacabra will come back. It will eat the Night token.
That is a nice sequence for him.
Those Golgari, what, a 3-for-1? We cast a plant. Yeah, I think that's a solid 3-for-1 there.
Oh, yeah.
We killed a creature, made a 2-2, and made a Planeswalker. Yeah, that's
just the pinnacle. that is the height of the Golgari Mage.
Yeah. Maybe like a 4. You could call it a 4-for-1. It's, I don't know. It's a lot. And Shoopman, no attacks, may just pass. Which means here goes the Dark Confidant again.
Yeah, the Screen Seeker sure misses a lot.
Yeah, it's like, it's drawn 2 cards. It's not missed every time.
Yeah, if it finds 1 land, it's done its job. 2 mana 1/3 that adds a card to your hand, that's a really good card, actually.
Plus on Vivian Reed finds a land. And we will see.
Dead weight.
Dead weight, taking care of District Guide.
Maybe another Chupacabra. Maybe something more powerful. Ooh. Golgari Findbroker, dead weight back. Dead weight your other token.
Oh, okay, I see what's going on here. This is a 2-of Golgari Findbroker. It's just Gravedigger. But it's like good Gravedigger that's a little bit bigger. It's very Golgari.
It gets some cards that are a lot more powerful than the card Gravediggers find.
Yeah,
it can get back your Vraskas, your Vivian Reeds.
Yeah, it gets back Planeswalkers?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'm pretty in here. We do see, looks like some March of the Multitudes, making 4 1/1s for Shoopman, but
Convoked after the second removal spell. Seems like you may as well do it after the first, though I don't know what difference it really makes.
Well, here is Flower. Hold on, is this lethal? Ryan, I think this is.
Is this 5 attackers or 6?
That's...
It only takes 5, so...
Yeah, they're
all
3/3s. Yeah, Shoopman manages to get this one. So on the mull to 5, things looked like they were getting out of control, and that 1-2 punch, we kind of thought that was the only thing he was playing toward in Game 1, and it might have been the same in Game 2, but he had it this time.
Yeah, there was a big miss on the 4th land for Murray for a turn there, and ended up costing him the game.
Yeah, and that makes sense. You're running like to not convoke in response to the removal spell. If that 5 is lethal, it makes sense to not convoke yet.
Yeah, it didn't end up being a difference maker at all.
Right. And things even up. So, for Jason Rice and Cody Murray, they have no more losses left to give. As we look at the sideboard here.
Into Game 3, so Murray will be back on the play, so he's less likely to be run over by those early History of Benalias, but does still have to be concerned about them. He will need to be making land drops. Would like to see his Dryad Greenseekers cooperate a little bit more in the early game. Then he'll be able to convert with his Ravenous Chupacabras a little bit better. But it certainly doesn't feel good to lose a Game 2 when your opponent's on 5. A Golden Demise would have swung things pretty easily in Murray's favor if he had it when he had access to just 3 mana, though. Only 2 copies in the sideboard, but even just Ritual of Soot on turn 4 over the first Chupacabra, that would have been a big deal as well.
Yeah. And things, you know, Cody on that 7, the missing on land really hurt. It almost... Still, though, I like Cody in this matchup, I think.
Yeah, I think that outside of specifically March of the Multitudes into Flourish, that's the one thing he has to be really concerned about.
Yeah, and there's a lot of cards that could have ended things there. You know, say there was Ritual of Soot in Cody's hand, that game would have been pretty over.
Yep.
And a lot of things have that effect.
Yeah, specifically missing on lands, not really casting anything when he was stuck on 3, just being so glutted on 4s. That alone was a big deal as well. All
right, 7s each. Cody Murray getting to be on the play. And Murray's going to take a mulligan. This time Shoopman keeps. This feels like either deck could win on a mulligan to 5. We already saw Shoopman do it. I could see Cody easily just doing nothing until Ritual of Soot and having it be very good.
Right. Yeah, you saw what happened with Shoopman, where he just cast March of the Multitudes into Flourish, and that was enough to close the game based off of the early aggression there. There's other swings that go exactly the opposite way in Murray's favor. They don't win the game on the spot necessarily, but they clean up a lot of cards.
So how does Cody defend against that 1-2 punch? I mean, it all happens end step and untap. Does he have great options?
Maintaining a high life total and having a good volume of blockers is about what he can do. If he keeps the board clear, it's hard for Shoopman to march for more than 3 or 4 tokens.
Okay.
And if you keep a 20-point life total, you can't flourish through that with 3 or 4 tokens.
We're underway for Game 3. Cody Murray keeps on 6 and scries to the top. So here we go. Shoopman starts on Legion's Landing. Looks like Cody's scrying another land to the top. That's Overgrown Tomb. Got a healthy amount of lands here. Looks like Vraska, at least 3 more.
Is it just lands and Vraska?
Well, here's the thing. So he has Forest, Swamp in hand, but that Overgrown Tomb was scried to the top, which makes me think, I mean, the count is there has to be at least one more card in Cody's hand. Mm-hmm. And it's something that must cost a lot of mana if he wanted to keep the Overgrown Tomb. I mean, right now he's not getting punished, right?
Not just yet. He has a lot of single cards that clean up whatever Shoopman's up to very effectively.
One thing I'm looking for, Ryan, in Cody's deck, do we have any like Read the Bones style effects? Any just straight 2-for-1s that he can do as we build our way up to the Haymakers?
Not really. The kind of stuff is build your own. Some of his 2-for-1s play out of the graveyard. You know, find half of Find Finality. You can pick up 2 creatures, but nothing like that just draws cards.
History of Benalia from Shoopman. Then in the second half of History, he plays Arch of Orazka. That's the one of in his deck. Only 9 permanents.
He'll get there.
Yeah, just recast something. I guess on Cody's side, his 2-for-1s are District Guides and Ravenous Chupacabras.
Yeah.
Those are his draw spells, if you can call them that. Mm-hmm. Looks like Sorcerer Spyglass can be the 10th permanent for Shoopman. We'll see if Cody wants to respond. He does not. His hand is all lands and Vraska, which will then be Spyglassed.
Okay, so now the hand is all air, whereas previously mostly air and an ineffective spell.
I don't know why. I think we'll have to double check if he'd scried to the top. That doesn't make sense with this hand.
Yeah, that can't be what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what I thought I had spotted the hand as.
Yeah, I mean, with 5 lands Vraska, you're not going to... Yeah, he scried to the bottom. Confirmed. I mean, you want the 6th land, but you don't have to have it right away. Swing in here by Shoopman.
Getting into the do-or-die time with Golden Demise and Ritual of Soot.
Here is Ravenous Chupacabra for Cody Murray.
It's fine.
Start. That'll take care of a night token, which would have grown into a 4/3. How easy is it for Cody to blow up that Spyglass and free up the Vraska in his hand?
Yeah, he has 3 Slashing Brontodons, 3 Assassin's Trophy.
Yeah.
Vivian Reed can do it.
In the meantime, Shoopman's hand looks very difficult to beat, though. He has History of Benalia, Vivian Reed, and 2 copies of Conclave Tribunal. I'm just not sure how Golgari gets through all of that in time.
Right. Murray really just can't afford another blank draw step, and honestly needs to have a number of higher power level ones.
Right. Back to Shoopman we go. The History of Benalia saga finished this turn, so the Knight's a 4/3. That will Vigilance swing in, putting Cody to 11. Now see how Shoopman wants to follow up. Looks like just another History is what he goes for, and why not? Mana appears to be the choking point, so getting to transform Legion's Landing is a nice way to ramp up.
Yes.
Not to mention, this is just some good attackers.
Not sure what the card is. Might be Ritual of Soot that was just picked up for Murray.
If they're playing, let's not put it up. And we see Vraska. You can still cast it.
Yep.
He'll say go.
And if that was Ritualist Soot, he's just waiting for that second token off of the history, and that makes sense. He has a little bit of life to play with, and currently the Chupacabra has some fine blocks.
Another Knight. They're all going to get pumped next turn. That's looking like it could be lethal. And I think Shoopman at this point wants to wonder, should he Conclave Tribunal away the Chupacabra and just go to town? That would be a 5-point swing.
Yeah, I like that better than committing more creatures to the battlefield at the very least.
Yeah, I think he's like wants to dodge stuff like Vivian Reed, blow that Vivian Reed play that happened last game. They're all pretty nice lines at this point.
Right.
I don't know how much it matters. You could just attack into it without the Tribunal. He's going to go ahead and remove the Chupacabra, however. So Chupacabra's gone. A swing of 3 creatures will put Cody down to 6. The Legion's Landing, we're going to wait a transformation on that, and there it goes into a Danto. The History of Benalia saga will complete next turn, and right now, that's the end of the story for Cody.
Yeah, I believe he has Ritualist Soot, so you should see that fire off here. Because he loses if he doesn't.
All right, that'll take care of everything.
But Shoopman's still in a pretty commanding position. He now has the Adanto the First fort. He has Vivian Reed in hand, some other value plays available.
All right, well, History of Benalia finishes. That's not going to do much. But some follow-ups for Shoopman. Looks like, yeah, correct. Cody was at 6 on that attack.
I think this is Tender Shoot Dryad.
All right, out of the sideboard, Tender Shoot Dryad. This one, not bad either.
The Miniature Verdant Force, actually quite a lot better than that card because it's castable.
Now, he already has the City's Blessing from earlier in the game, even though he does not currently have it. So that means at the beginning of each upkeep, he gets a 1/1 Saproling.
Yep, you always get to do that one, and then they get +2/+2 when you're blessed.
They're 3/3s then. We do see Doom Whisper from Cody Murray.
Don't expect him to be activating that one in this game.
Nope.
Even though he desperately needs to draw good cards.
And another Saproling from Shoopman.
And this is the kind of board that does not get cleaned up by another Ritualist suit. What he would need is Golden Demise, as that takes care of the Dryad, and then that would shrink the tokens as well. It looks like Shoopman has a Tristani Discordant, which
that takes care of that Golden Demise
pretty
line.
much eliminates Murray's odds in this game, which were long in the first place.
With Tristani being cast, Shoopman has a lethal attack on board if he wants to try for it. Just swing all 3. A bit aggressive, but may work. And oh, wait, Ryan. Tap 1, 2, 3.
Yes, Tribunal here.
There we go. There we go. That is the 5th square. That is the bingo win. It took like on the 20th Conclave Tribunal.
I told you it was going to happen.
Eric Shoopman wins it 2-1. And we actually have a full sweep in, I think, the most shocking results, a 2-0 win for Victor Logan.